Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornblut, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
The thing that we've been doing a pretty good job of, over the last couple of weeks, we've been throwing strikes and we've been playing better defensively.
We'll get out a couple of days early and try to get acclimated and really looking forward to it. We played regionals there 2 years ago, and we just think the golf course is a great fit for us.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, Thursday afternoon. So happy to have you with us. Phil Kornblut, the Professor Tom Hayes, and Carson Mason all together, downtown Columbia. Phone number 800-956-7266. Love to hear from you here in our opening hour. Plenty of time for your calls. We'll work in some recruiting. But for those of you who've tried to get through, have not recently, first hour pretty much wide open for your calls. 800-956-7266. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com and on Twitter @sportstalksc. Big baseball games in many places because it's the last weekend of the regular season. So there's a lot to play for, a lot of positioning up for grabs, SEC, ACC. Big South appears to be pretty much tucked away with the Coastal Carolina. In fact, Coastal's already clinched the regular season, so not pretty much. They've already wrapped up the regular season in the Big South. So as they play Campbell this weekend, no sweat for them. Southern Conference, Mercer, Greensboro, they're your top two tied for the lead. Western Carolina, Furman is right in there too, a couple of games back. So Furman could perhaps make some noise this weekend. Clemson and Notre Dame underway up in South Bend. And Weston Wilson is in the line for Clemson tonight. In fact, he just struck out swinging. So they've got a little protective mask for him, I guess. They got the nose straightened out, took the bump out from the broken nose, and he's ready to go.
Boy, I don't know about that mask. I've never seen a hitter yet, and in basketball for that matter, didn't snatch that thing off. Maybe he snatches it off after the first at bat, because anything close to the face for a hitter, it's got to be a detriment to him seeing the ball.
Well, they might have some sort of, not being able to see the game right now, they might have some sort of bars or something on his headgear to help protect him there. But anyway, at least he's in the ball game for the Tigers, playing second base. Williams is playing third base. Jolly is DHing for the Tigers tonight. Pender, Beer, Oakey, Roman, White, and Cox. Cox is at first base for Clemson tonight. Barnes, the starting pitcher. Tigers batting in the top of the first. In a couple of hours, USC and Alabama will get underway in Tuscaloosa. Big series for both teams. South Carolina trying to at least hold on to fourth and perhaps even win the SEC outright this weekend. They will have that opportunity depending on what happens around them. And Alabama's trying to move up. Alabama has won 7 of 10, 4 in a row. They're a hot team. 8 o'clock, that start. We're going to talk golf in our second hour as well with Larry Penley and USC women. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, presented by the National Wild Turkey Federation. You can help make the world a better place through conservation of North America's greatest game bird and the preservation of our hunting heritage by joining the NWTF. Find out how at nwtf.org/rise-and-fly. There's a baseball going on elsewhere this afternoon. Once again, Clemson and Notre Dame are playing right now. They're in the top of the first. Of course, Clemson batting right now up in South Bend. No score between the Tigers and the Irish. Clemson sitting in the number 6 spot in the ACC going in, and that's the cutoff for the ACC. Top 6 advance to Wednesday next week in their tournament and avoid the play-in game. They only take 10 teams in the ACC to their tournament. So teams that finish 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, they have to play a game on Tuesday with those winners joining the main draw. They've gone to the bottom of the first now, no score, Clemson and Notre Dame. Now, some other baseball around the state today. In the Big South, Gardner-Webb defeated Winthrop 5-3 in the first of 2. What they've done, because of expected bad weather on Saturday, they've moved up games from Saturday to today and playing doubleheaders around the Big South. In Game 2, Winthrop and Gardner-Webb are tied at 1. Charleston Southern PC wins the game 10-0. Actually, they're in the top of the 7th, and PC is winning 10-0 in the top of the 7th. Let's see what else we have ongoing in baseball this afternoon as it involves state teams. That is it. Wofford and Furman will play later on, and Citadel and East Tennessee will play later on as well. And Upstate is also in action tonight, too. Upstate will be at home against Jacksonville. All those games just getting underway. Now, SEC-wise, already today, Vanderbilt has beaten Auburn 5-2. So, what does that mean to South Carolina? That makes Vanderbilt 16-12 in SEC play. South Carolina at 17-9. So, Vanderbilt inches a little closer towards South Carolina. Now the Gamecocks just need to go ahead and, if they win 2 games of these 3 in Alabama, that should be enough for them. That'll give them 19 league wins. And, they still could be passed. LSU could get to 20. Ole Miss could get to 20 and pass South Carolina. Vanderbilt can only get to 18 wins, and Florida's sitting on 18. Florida, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M are sitting on 18 wins. So those are the 3 the Gamecocks are trying to catch, or at least stay up with. Keep an eye on possibly Vandy, LSU, Ole Miss, and obviously Alabama.
I think Vandy, they've got them in the loss column. If they win 2 out of 3, they don't have to worry about them. Mm-hmm. The key point now is there are trapdoors for every team in those top 4. There's no doubt about it. All are playing tremendous competition. So we don't know how it's going to shake out by the end of next week. It may be a half game separates all 4 of them, and then you just go in there and have a free-for-all in Alabama in the tournament next week.
Yeah, I think the tournament next week is going to be one of the most competitive in recent years in terms of the number of teams who could realistically make the claim going in of being able to win the tournament. The league is 7-8 deep. And the same thing for the ACC. They're talking about, as we mentioned last night, was it Baseball America had 10 ACC teams? Mm-hmm. All 10 teams that make the ACC tournament projected to make the NCAA tournament?
I think the carrot for one of the carrots involved in the tournament that makes it a little bit more spicy this year in the SEC is the fact that I think maybe 1 or even 2 national seeds may be on the line for those who are successful in winning that tournament or getting into the championship round.
Mm-hmm. And you have to wonder, too, when it comes to getting the national seeds and the home sites, will there be an SEC bias? Because, there's talk of the SEC getting as many as 6 regionals, which is seldom done. It's happened before. 5 is been about the max. Certainly they won't go past 6 home sites in any one league. And you just wonder if the committee would be hesitant if they've got 5, if they'll be hesitant to go to 6, which could, for South Carolina. Well, certainly South Carolina is going to host at least a first round regional, but sticking in that top 8 will be key for them to guarantee that they're going to have a regional and be in position to host a super regional, which is the fast lane to Omaha if you're able to have those home games. It's just become statistically so big in the NCAA tournament having the home field. All right, let's see. I think that's the only game so far underway in the SEC and ACC besides the Clemson game was that Vanderbilt win already this afternoon over Auburn 5-2. They're playing in Nashville. You got Missouri and Kentucky. You've got and they're playing a second game tonight because they're moving up their game for tomorrow in Nashville. They've moved that up to tonight, so they're playing 2. You've got Florida LSU tonight, Ole Miss Texas A&M. Florida LSU is on the U. Ole Miss Texas A&M is on the SEC network. Everything else is on SEC Plus. Tennessee, Georgia, USC, Alabama, and Arkansas, Mississippi State. So, so many of these games are going to be impacting the league standings here over the next couple of days. The ACC schedule tonight, of course, Clemson, Notre Dame already underway. They're in the top of the second now. So, and Charlie Barnes breezed through the bottom of the first with no problem. So they go to the top of the second. Also in the ACC tonight, you've got Georgia Tech, Virginia. And Virginia is trying to play its way into a super regional, or at least into a host. Louisville and Wake Forest, that's a good matchup. Wake Forest has been very hot. Louisville is just what a terrific team and a terrific program they have put together. Miami and Florida State, what a great way to close out the regular season in Tallahassee. North Carolina, NC State, playing tonight in Raleigh, and Boston College and Georgia Tech playing in Atlanta, and Duke in Pittsburgh. Duke is trying to make the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1961. 1961, if I read that correctly. 1961, last time they were in the tournament. And the feeling is they're going to make it if they don't flounder this weekend against Pittsburgh. So there you go. Those are the games. Did I mention Campbell and Coastal? I did. I mentioned Campbell and Coastal Carolina tonight as well.
Maybe if Duke, gets into the baseball tournament, that means around the corner, South Carolina would actually win a NCAA tournament basketball game at some point.
All right. What else we got for you tonight? Clemson football news. They have set the kickoff times for the Tigers' first 2 home games. Of course, we know the Auburn game, their first game of the season on the road, is going to kick off at 9 o'clock. Tigers' first home game, September 10th, against Troy, will be on the ACC network at 12:30. How about Pittsburgh and Penn State and Pittsburgh getting back together again this year?
That's a natural. They should be playing.
They're going to play September 10th at noon. They'll play at Pittsburgh. Let's see. Other ACC games on September the 3rd. Of course, we know Clemson's playing at Auburn. So the first weekend, you've got Georgia Tech at Boston College, Liberty at Virginia Tech, Villanova at Pitt, Richmond at Virginia, North Carolina and Georgia, North Carolina Central at Duke, Florida A&M at Miami, Clemson, Auburn, and then Florida State Ole Miss on that Monday. Then Friday, September 9th, the first Friday game of the season. I cannot believe the ACC is playing Friday.
Still doing that?
Games. Oh, throughout. Yeah. Louisville and Syracuse are going to play on a Friday night.
Oh, boy. Louisville is too good for that.
The league is too good for that. That just really is embarrassing for the ACC to drop to the level. And the fans get mad and they wonder, how can you say the SEC Supreme? Just take a look at the fact that you're going to play Friday night games. It's an embarrassment. Be right back. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, 800-956-72. Yeah, you ACC fans out there, Clemson fans, come on now. You got to be pissed about playing games on Friday nights. Really? Seriously? You want to be considered a big boy football league, and yes, I know Clemson is a great team and is a big boy football team. But the league, to me, this is a black eye from the day that they announced they would play some games on Friday night. It always starts out with one here, two there, and now it's becoming widespread. September 9th, Louisville at Syracuse. October 7th, Clemson at Boston College, 7:30.
They're making Clemson play on a Friday night?
You didn't know that?
I thought this was one of the teams they left alone.
No, it's because it's at Boston College. Now, is there an understanding that Clemson won't have to play at home on a Friday night? Now, somebody told me, didn't Florida State play at home on a Friday night last year or a couple of years ago? I believe they did. It was up at Boston College.
It better be after high school football up there is over, because somebody they would
Duke
really
at Louisville on a Friday night. Boston College. Oh, here you go. Boston College at Florida State, Friday, November 11th.
So Boston College is the culprit.
Well, I can understand. I can't understand at all. But if there's one place in the league where you could get away playing on a Friday night to some degree, it'd be Boston.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Because nobody pays attention anyway, and it's a whole different world up there. And maybe even Miami. NC State at North Carolina. Oh, this is going to be over the holidays. This is on a Friday. That's over the Thanksgiving holiday. So that's okay. I get that. Fine. But come on. More and more games on Friday nights in the ACC. And it's an embarrassment. It's an absolute joke. The Clemson, South Carolina State game. The Tigers' second home game will have a noon kickoff on September 17th. So get ready to sweat your buns off on September 10th at 12:30 and September 17th at noon in Death Valley. It will be hotter than two potatoes in there. All right, what else do we have for you? Saw this story in the Charleston paper yesterday, a little surprising. This really doesn't impact the rest of the state, but this is a long-standing football tradition, the Sertoma Classic in Charleston, which annually has brought together the schools in Charleston and Berkeley counties and Dorchester County. All those schools come together. The big ones, the little ones. Well, Fort Dorchester and Summerville, along with Ashley Ridge and Woodland, they're not going to play. They're going to have their own. They're going to have their own jamboree.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Which is, it's a shame, I guess. I hate to see
big time in people.
I don't know. They say they're going to do their thing, give money to charity, just like the Sertoma Classic does. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Don't know the politics. Don't know the backstory. But that's a shame. You're talking about Fort D loaded and Summerville being Summerville, and they're not going to participate. There'll still be plenty of teams there, but you hate to lose those guys. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Phil Kornblut, Tom Hayes with you. 800-956-7266. That is our phone number. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com. And on Twitter, use the hashtag on Twitter or use the address, our Twitter address. Did I say Twitter? @SportsTalkSC. I got 500 things going through my pea brain as I'm trying to talk to you. We're brought to you by the National Wild Turkey Federation. You can help make the world a better place through conservation of North America's greatest game bird and the preservation of our hunting heritage by joining the NWTF. Find out how at nwtf.org/riseandfly. All right, Clemson and Notre Dame, they're in the third inning, scoreless in the third inning. And to South Alabama, they'll get underway around 8 o'clock tonight. To the phones we go, 800-956-7266. And it is Tiger Bryan in Lancaster. TB, you are a Clemson fan, right? That's why we call you Tiger Bryan. You are a Clemson fan.
Yes, sir.
Well, aren't you just embarrassed to the hilt about your league playing all these Friday night games? Come on, Tiger Bryan. Let me hear really what you think.
Well,
I mean, Friday nights are reserved for the big West, the Mountain West, the Deep West. What else? The
MAC.
The MAC. You're going to put the ACC on that level and stoop so low as to schedule up all these Friday night games. Come on.
You know me, Corn. I mean, Phil, I don't have no control of this.
You don't talk to the commissioner? You don't talk to John Swofford and tell him what to do?
No. Hey, I'll tell you what, though. You know, I'm a Buford Yellow Jacket. The girls in Dillon, you know, playing for the state. That was one of the best games I watched Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
It went top of the 8th, and they beat us 5-3. But we had them beat in the 7th, 2-3. But we got down early. But, you know, I want to give a shout out to all my Buford girls out there. Tomorrow evening, well, probably Monday when it's raining looking. But all my girls, hold your heads up. We're gonna bring the state championship home. I believe in them, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what, Phil. In the last 6 games, that game last night was the first game in 6 or 7 games they allowed a score. Buford Yellow Jackets. You know, that's pretty impressive in playoffs.
Sounds kind of like Clemson's defense. You got Brent Venables running your defense?
No. We got Coach Allen down there. She's a great coach. We'll give a shout out to her. You know, but they told me they heard me talking about it before the game. You know, they listen to sports talk.
Did you inspire them? Did that give them a rush?
No, I reckon I jinxed them the other night talking about it before the game. Hey, but they play in Chesterfield. I got them to a neutral site, you know, when they play.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dillon, I got to give him credit too. I swear, they played the hearts out. You know what I mean? You know, but if you've been to a good state championship softball team, there was like 500 people at this little 2A school down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was packed, man. It was and it was clean calling, good game, good people. Didn't what the fuck like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome, man. We lost. You know, I hated to lose, but as far as a good, clean game, I thought, you know, I was proud. I was proud of both sides. You know what I mean?
That's all you can ask for is that they play hard and play clean, and the best team wins. Thank you, Tiger Bryan. Appreciate the phone call. Since he brought it up, let me update what's going on in these state championships. If you didn't know, Latta thumped McBee last night, 5-1. Scored 5 runs we scored him in the 6th. Down 1-0. I think we scored 5 in the 6th. Colby Lee, our stud, our ace, our Cy Young Award winner, who's coming to South Carolina. He's got 3 innings left to pitch. He used 7. He had 10 innings coming into the week that he could pitch. He used 7 last night, I think. He's got 3 left in that arm. And McBee and Latta
out of 3.
No, it's 1. Yeah, it's 1 game.
1 game?
This is it. Yeah. Have you not been following along?
No.
Okay, McBee won the first game.
Okay.
6-2.
Oh, so this is a rubber game. This is a rubber. And, okay.
Right. McBee got the benefit of a lot of home calls at their place.
No, that's when they took that 3-0 lead early, and then y'all.
From what I hear, my spies tell me it was the home plate umpire is the mayor of McBee, from what I understand. When they played at McBee, Rick Henry's uncle was the first base umpire, so everything was going against us. And we turned around with a fair umpiring crew in Latta, and we played fair in Latta, and we won fair and square. And so now we'll settle it tomorrow at Lakewood High School. McBee and Latta. I'm sure there'll be 10, 15,000 there for that one. It is the 2 in a row, dynasty in a 2A.
The 2 feet.
2A, you've got Strom Thurmond beat Ainer 10-4. So they'll play a deciding game in Sumter at Riley Park tomorrow, 7:00. Right? Yeah, May 20th tomorrow. 7:00 for that. Now, the 3A state championship series, baseball, is getting underway tonight down at St. James over in that's sort of Murrells Inlet, Surfside, Socastee, right in that little area. Belton Honeypath and St. James teeing it up in that one, game 1. The 4A championship series, and Somerville won last night 2-1 over J.O. Mann. So it's won. Everything's going 3 games. So they'll play tomorrow at Lexington High School.
Okay.
Okay, that's that. Now to softball. In from last night. Maybe they got rained out. I don't know. Dixie and East Clarendon. I don't know what happened last night. Nothing here. Tell me if anybody knows what happened between Dixie and East Clarendon last night, if indeed they did play. Dixie won the first game back on Monday. Don't know what happened last night. Somebody let us know. In 2A, as we just heard from Tiger Bryan, Dylan Buford. Dylan won last night 5-3. So, Tiger Bryan, I hope you're listening. It says here in the high school league website that they're going to play at South Florence High School. He was saying Chesterfield. Didn't he say Chesterfield?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. South Florence High School is where Dylan and Buford
be going in the wrong place
are scheduled to play. Tiger Bryan, pay attention. Do not go to Chesterfield tomorrow for that. Assuming the high school league is right. I would hope they're right. The 3A softball championship series is not going to start until Saturday. Union County will be at Hartsville, 3:00 on Saturday. And then 4A softball. Stratford beat Burns last night 2-1. Burns won the first game 10-3. How do you beat somebody in softball 10-3? Stratford won last night 2-1. So they will play the decisive game at USC tomorrow night at 7:00.
Well, here's the question. That 10-3 game, they can have the mercy rule. What is the mercy rule? What's 5-6?
I'm not sure. But, scoring 10 runs in softball is not easy. It's just not. You score 10 runs, you've had a good day. All right, so that's it. That's how things look. Wish all the teams well. I wish every team, truly, from the bottom of my heart, I wish every team well except for one.
And that's the one that's playing your alma mater.
Well, I mean, come on. I can only go so far in my good nature. Did you find something out? Did you get a phone call about that? Mm-hmm. Dixie won last night. So Dixie's a state champion. Right? Dixie won the state championship last night. If they won last night. Congratulations to the Dixies. Back in a moment. We are back, Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, and we're brought to you by Future Scholars Palmetto Baby Grant Program. May 29th is 529 Day. All babies born on May 29th are eligible to receive a $529 college savings grants. Great thing. To apply, visit scpalmettobaby.com. 800-956-7266. Lines are open right now here on Sports Talk. If you want to join us, email talkback@sportstalksc.com, and on Twitter, our Twitter address is @SportsTalkSC, @SportsTalkSC. So let me just double check here. I believe Dixie won the first game 3-0. We got a caller who said Dixie won last night. So congratulations, Dixie. You have won yourself a Class A state championship. Do you know where Dixie is located?
No, I do not.
I bet you 95% of the people in South Carolina have no idea where Dixie High School is. Dixie High School is the high school in Due West. From Erskine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Erskine is right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the nicest little town. You drive into Due West, you don't see a whole lot. And you kind of see parts of where the old Erskine campus used to be. I think they've kind of redeveloped and built some newer stuff across the street. It's just a small town with a small college in it and a small high school across the street. Just your nice little quiet upstate town. And they're going to celebrate. They'll probably have a ticker tape parade down Main Street in Due West. Take about, 45 seconds to.
God, man.
Well, it's a small town. I'm telling you, it doesn't take. I'm from a small town. I know how long parades take. In Latta, the typical Christmas parade when I was a child would take about 10 minutes, depending on how many bands were marching,
I always took about 30 minutes. We took the long way, and Bamberg too.
I'm exaggerating.
By the way,
took us a little longer.
Every little town in South Carolina, I admit to you that when we used to follow high school playoffs, how do you get to the high school? 9 times out of 10, turn left at the Hardee's.
Yeah. I used to say when I had to find a school going around the state, especially in a small town, I just look for the lights. I look for the athletic field lights because they usually tower over most everything in the town, and you can find them from anywhere. And that's the case in my little town. So I'm sure it's a case in your little town. Bottom of the third, Notre Dame and Clemson, they are still scoreless. The Tigers have left 5 in 3 innings.
Not good.
Yeah, they have left 5 in 3 innings. Let's see what has happened with them so far. In the first inning, Tigers got a couple of men on with 2 outs, and Roman struck out to end that threat. In the second inning, the Tigers went down in order. Third inning, Tigers had the bases loaded with 2 outs, and Roman flied out to right field. So I think Reed Roman has left all 5 men on base, if I got that correct, right? First inning, he struck out with 2 on. Third inning, he flied out with the bases loaded. So he's left 5 on base thus far. Charlie Barnes has been outstanding to this point. Let me just double check here. He has just set the Irish down in order in the third. In the second, he did the same. And in the first, he did the same. So he's perfect through 3 innings, Charlie Barnes. In this weird Clemson arrangement for their pitching with 1 starter and TBA. I understand the logic behind it because Pat Krall has obviously become their best pitcher. And they're so short, I guess, in quality arms that they don't want to they want to have him ready to come in out of the bullpen to save a win. And if they don't need him, then they'll turn around and they'll start him in game 2 or maybe even game 3, probably game 2, because you might as well try and throw your best guy there to win the series if you win game 1. But as we were talking to Monty Lee last night, that's such a unique situation for a high-level NCAA tournament team to be in with only 1 true identified starter for the weekend.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. Almost reminds me of how they may use those young pitchers in the Little League World Series. But in that case, you have a tremendous tight pitch count on those kids. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Monty Lee has a pitch count on Crawl, who knows?
Well, yeah. I mean, these guys are, if he uses Crawl this is where he has to be careful. If he uses Pat Crawl for an extended period in relief, he can't turn around and use him as a starter the next game. In fact, he might not be able to use him at all. You know, if he pitches today, say he comes in the 7th inning, finishes up, throws 50 pitches, you can't start him or even probably use him on Friday. Now, you might be able to use him in some form or fashion on Saturday. It becomes a real dicey situation between the coaches, the pitching coach and the head coach, and how they handle the arms of these guys. All right, back with recruiting in a moment. All righty, now let's get to the recruiting knowledge for tonight. Defensive end MJ Webb, Madison, Georgia, was at USC Wednesday, following up on the plans that he had told us about earlier, coming to USC on Wednesday. And he was there primarily with Will Muschamp because the rest of the coaches were on the road. So he really enjoyed the visit, had a nice visit with Muschamp, broke down film of Jonathan Bullard because Muschamp coached Bullard at Florida. Tells Webb that he sees a lot of Jonathan Bullard in Webb, a lot of similarities. Webb will be back at USC this summer. Also will come back for an official visit. He visited USC as well back in January, so obviously interest is high. Going to Tennessee June 2nd, Auburn June 4th. Not saying any leaders right now, but the schools that are showing him the most interest are USC, Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. Offensive lineman Cordavian Suggs of Neptune Beach, Florida, issued a top 10. USC's on the list. Florida, Mississippi State, Tennessee, North Carolina, FAU, Memphis, Louisville, Georgia Tech, Washington State. USC on Wednesday night offered defensive end Aaron Moffitt, 6'4", 255, out of Baton Rouge. Former Clemson receiver DeMar Kitt, who was at Ventura Junior College, California, transferring to Highland Junior College in Kansas. USC offered 2018 defensive back Nate Thompson, 6'3", 180, Sanford, North Carolina. Clemson offered 2019 defensive end Michael Jones of Miami. Defensive 6'2", 240, Sugar Hill, Georgia, another heavily recruited prospect in the Peach State. Of the schools that have offered, and about 30 have, standing out the most to him right now, Georgia and Tennessee. Plus, he's thinking hard about USC, Wake Forest, NC State, and Georgia Tech. All of the schools I mentioned he has visited. He was at USC March 19th, but he says he hasn't heard from recruiter Coleman Hutzler in a few weeks. But he says when they talk, their conversations are good, their communication is good. He wants to go back to USC, he said, to see more of the academic side of things. He enjoyed the visit when he was there to watch spring practice. 64 tackles and 9 sacks for him last season. No visits are planned for the summer, but he said he will return to USC. Wren quarterback Jay Urich was offered today by Appalachian State. Clemson offered defensive end Jonathan Garvin. He is out of Florida. He also has a USC offer. And in basketball, Pooh on Valpo. They have denied 6'8" David Scarra the opportunity to go to Vanderbilt with his former coach. So they've turned down his appeal. This might be good for Clemson. Scarra has visited Clemson. He has visited Georgia Tech as he's looking around for new schools. And now that Vandy is out of the mix, that certainly helps Clemson's cause. That's recruiting. We'll be back.
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
We are back, Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network from downtown Columbia on what has been a pretty lousy weather day. It's chilly out there. And it's supposed to stay this way for, what, a couple more days? It's rain and stuff?
I hope not.
Tell you what, up at Notre Dame, Irish have taken a 1-0 lead. You know what? I should never have mentioned that Charlie Barnes was perfect through 3 because he's not perfect anymore.
Perfect through 3.
But no, people blame me now. They're going to say I jinxed him, you know. Unfortunately, Cal Biggio, well, he's related to Biggio.
Craig Biggio.
Biggio. Ca Biggio, C-A Biggio. He doubled to lead off the 4th. Then there was a bunch back to the pitcher, turned into a single, 1st and 3rd. Then a fielder's choice, RBI. So 1-0 Notre Dame on top of the Tigers. Tigers leaving those 5 runners in the first 3 innings. Could be a problem later on. But with their offense now, they're capable of breaking loose here most any time. It's time to pop a beer up in the South Bend.
They may not pitch to him.
Well, that's true now. People aren't pitching around him, no doubt about it. That's why it's important that who's ever – well, you can't – if you pitch around him, you're going to face Okie.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got some protection. Okie and Roman back him up. Those are 2 very good hitters. So so far, Beer has a hit, a single, and a walk. Okie has been walked twice so far. But the Tigers trail it. They have just the 1 hit. Beer's hit is the only hit for the Tigers. They have just the 1 hit. Notre Dame has 2 hits and 1 run. South Carolina, Alabama, they'll get underway at 8. Let's check some other scores for you. Let's see what's happening in the ACC. Louisville 1-0 over Wake Forest in the 3rd. Duke and Pittsburgh scoreless in the 4th. Virginia leads Virginia Tech 2-1 in the 2nd. North Carolina over State 2-0 in the 2nd. That's it for the games underway there. In the SEC, that first game, Vandy beat Auburn 5-2. Missouri and Kentucky, they are scoreless in the 2nd. Only games underway there. Check some state scores now. Upstate leading Jacksonville in the 4th, 3-1. Gardner-Webb leading Winthrop, going for the sweep. They're up 4-3 in the 7th. Gardner-Webb won the first game 5-3. Presbyterian has finished off Charleston Southern, shutting them out 12-0. Coastal out to a 4-0 lead on Campbell. Bottom of the 3rd in that one. Coastal, every win for them really helps their case for being a host in a couple of weeks for a regional, which I'll be all in favor of for obvious reasons. Bottom of the 4th, Wofford and Furman, they're scoreless. Top of the 3rd, East Tennessee leading the Citadel 6-1. And you, my friends, are up to date. Let's talk some golf. Larry Penley from Clemson headed to the tournament. He'll join us next. Okay, we're back. It's Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Phil Kornblut and the Professor Tom Hayes here on a Thursday night. Good to have you with us. Hope you've had a terrific day. We thank you for joining us here on Sports Talk. We're presented by the National Wild Turkey Federation. You can help make the world a better place through conservation of North America's greatest game bird and preservation of our hunting heritage by joining the NWTF. Find out how at nwtf.org/rise and fly. All right, the Clemson golf team on the men's side rose up and did a great job yesterday in qualifying for the championships next week in Oregon. Coach Larry Penley joining us now to talk about what they've accomplished and what is ahead. Congratulations. That must have been, I don't know, was it the layout or the conditions that made it so tough to score?
It did not matter whichever was going to happen. That is the hardest golf course in America.
Really?
And oh yeah, when we won the national championship there in 2003 on the same track, we were 128 under par for the year, and we shot 39 over and won by 2. So, I mean, it's 7,500 yards long, and when you throw in weather, which we had, it never got over 55. It rained and the wind blew, and you know, you can try to prepare the guys. You can try to tell them, guys, it's going to be hard. I mean, it's going to be tough. Get ready for it. But you don't realize it until you stand on the first tee, and it's, you know, the rain's beating you in the face and the wind's beating you in the face, and you got to go out and try to post a number. So it was tough. I mean, it was really tough. But I was very, very, very proud of the way the guys played. We did what we had to do. We got through it, so we're ready to move on.
Well, now, you have a shaky start. You know, you weren't in that top 5 after round 1. You were, I think, tied for 8th, and you kind of had to fight your way back into it. Were you, as a coach, after round 1, were you worried about things after that first day?
A shaky start is a kind way to put the way we started.
Yeah.
We did not start very well at all, and it was miserable at best. But after hole number 11, I think we played the last 7 holes the first day, maybe 4 under, which was really, really, really good. We got our ground set. We finally settled on the speed of the greens. The green speeds were ridiculous. I mean, it was 14 plus.
Oof.
And we kept hitting 15-foot putts, 6-8 feet past the hole, and I'm going, guys, you know, what are we doing? And they go, we've never seen greens this fast. And we had never seen greens that fast.
Mm-hmm.
But back off. Just back off. Don't try to make it. Go up there till you get comfortable with the green speeds, and then we can try to attack the golf course from there. But my goodness, it was a tough test.
All right, so you survived it, and you advance, and going through such a tough 3 days that you went through, how does that help you for Oregon next week?
I'm not real sure because I don't know much about that golf course. I know it's a Reese Jones or a Trent Jones golf course. It'll be defined by 9-foot to 100 tall spruce pine tree fairways, which I like. You know, I like defining where you need to hit the golf ball. I know it's going to be bent grass. We were able to go out to Pumpkin Ridge, just north of Portland, in fall, and that is a tremendous golf course. And then this spring we went out to Bandon Dunes, which is about 2 hours east of where we are going to be in Eugene, but that was right on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
So that's totally different golf. It's going to be tree-lined fairways. It's going to be Donna Ross type greens, and I'm sure they're going to be bent grass fairways and bent greens, and it'll be great. I mean, it'll be a great golf course, and we'll just try to get ready for it.
Now, in the regional, Stephen Bear led you. He finished 8th in the regional. Bryson Nimmer, your outstanding freshman, he was last among your guys, finished 49th. is that kind of what you expected going in, that Bear would lead you and everybody else would fall in line behind him?
Well, you hope you really hope our two seniors will step up. And going into the last round, I think Miller Capps, who is a senior from Denver, North Carolina, that was born and raised in Seneca, South Carolina, and Stephen Bear from Florence would stand up, and they did. I mean, they were under the premise that, all right, we don't want this to be our last round of golf in college competition at Clemson. We need to make sure we get through this darn thing, and they did. Now, I think Bryson got caught into a situation where he wasn't real sure what was going to happen. Golf course and saw the conditions. Bryson has been the biggest reason, really, that we have had the success we've had this spring. He has been tremendous. Was the ACC Freshman of the Year. He has led us in 3 of the 5 tournaments this fall. I really expect him to get his feet back to the ground, kind of get a grasp on things going into the finals, and hopefully we'll see some better golf from him. But the reason we made it was our two seniors stepped up at the end.
Eugene Country Club out in Oregon. So the women are going to play there starting tomorrow, and then you guys will follow them. And trying to remember now, I know the USGA did it with the men's and women's open a couple of years ago at Pinehurst. Is this normal operation for the NCAA to have the men and women one right after the other?
Well, we did it last year down in Bradenton, Florida.
Okay.
And I really think it hurt us because our guys watched the women. There were 2 or 3 holes where the girls were putting the balls off the green down in the fairways, and we saw that for 2 or 3 days. And I really think it. I hate to say it put a fear factor in our guys, but I really think it did. I have told our coach, JT Horton and Janine Fellows, bring me back your notes.
Yeah.
Let me see what y'all are seeing. I really need to kind of see what's going on there. But I think it's more of a traditional type golf course than what we saw last year. I think it's going to be more right in front of you. I think the conditions are, and hopefully the weather is going to be okay. Obviously, you have to expect rain. I don't think we'll get a whole lot of wind, but I do think we'll get a bunch of rain, and we'll just deal with it and just move forward and see if we can't make the cut, get to the final 8, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, and you're going out there when?
We are leaving Tuesday. We'll get there late Tuesday, actually. We found somewhere to practice on some bent type fairways and maybe hit some putts on some big grass sometime Wednesday. And then Thursday will be the practice round, and then the 54-hole qualifier starts on Friday morning.
It's a grind, isn't it, this championship, the way it's laid out now? I mean, you got to stay focused and tough over, if you make it, deep into the tournament, you're talking about a lot of golf.
Yeah, it is a tremendous amount of golf. And I'm not sure I'm a big fan of it, but that really at this point doesn't matter. I mean, what matters is what we have to do. So, we're going to go try to prepare for 54 holes, try to make the top 15, make that cut. And then you play one more round and get to the final 8. And once you get to match play, it's Katie bar the door, man. I mean, it's anything can happen once you make the final 8. So we're just going to try to do that and let's just see what happens. Okay.
Best of luck to you, and we will catch up with you out there in Oregon, Coach. We thank you as always.
Well, I hope to see you out there, Phil. It's always great talking to you, buddy.
I'll see if I can stow myself away on your plane or the Gamecocks plane and get out there. Thank you, Larry Penley. We appreciate it very much. In fact, stay tuned. If you're listening, Coach, we've got the USC women's coach from Oregon coming up. Thanks again to Larry Penley for being with us here on Sports Talk. Boy, hardest golf course he's ever seen in his life.
Yes,
they had to play at Stillwater, Oklahoma, and the scores. It's so. Of course, everybody's playing on the same level playing field at a golf course. I mean, all 13 teams are on that course, have to deal with it. But it's kind of, I guess there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you've got Clemson playing on a course where teams are shooting 30 and 40 over par. South Carolina's playing on a course where teams are shooting under par.
Mm-hmm.
And, it makes one sound so much easier than the other, but I'm sure they're all difficult. But the weather conditions and the layout and things of that nature, come into play. So we'll see what happens as the teams head out to Oregon. We'll get I'm hoping that Coach Penley's listening to us. He should be if he's a smart guy, and he is, because we've got Coach Kim Anderson, USC women's golf coach, coming up from the Eugene Country Club. They're there about to tee off tomorrow in the NCAA women's tournament. So we're going to find out from her what this course looks like, feels like, smells like, and how they're going to approach it. And the way the USC women, they won their regional or tied for first in their regional 2 years in a row that they've done that. So they're going into the thing, I'm sure, with high hopes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess now that they've gone through the torture chamber and Clemson looking forward to going to Oregon, even though she lives up several hundred miles north, my sister always reminds me it rains a lot in the Pacific Northwest.
Is she going to go down for the tournament, your sister?
I doubt it.
Is this Eden? Ethel? No, what's
Edna? No,
Edna.
This is Gwen. I have three sisters. You're only going to hear from the two oldest ones because those are the ones that try to guard the other two.
You know who really had it tough in life? Not to change the subject, talking about sisters, is our buddy, Pete Yannity. He is, see if I've got this right, he's the seventh child in his family, and the first six were girls. Or maybe he was the sixth child and the first five were girls. You get the point. They were trying to have a Pete, and they kept coming up with a Pauline and a Gladys and a whatever they named him.
Well,
he had nothing but a whole array of sisters until they finally
got to
him.
That's when you get that imaginary friend. But it's also fun, though, in that I only have three older sisters. But the fun part is the fact that your parents already have figured out that they have a book on how to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly a male comes into the picture and says, wait a minute.
Changes everything.
This book that we had for these three doesn't work for this one. So it's kind of fun to see how many hairs you can gray up on your parents' head while you're growing up.
It just changes everything. All right, Pittsburgh is leading the Braves 2-0 as they play in the bottom of the first. Braves won last night. I know that's a shock to a lot of people. Let's check in on Notre Dame and Clemson. They're in the top of the sixth. It's still a 1-0 Irish lead. Tigers with 2 hits. In fact, the Tigers have a little something brewing, 1 out, and runners on first and second. And they've just tied it up. How about that? As I'm talking, a double to left field. Eli White with a double to left field ties it up for the Tigers. 1-1, top of the sixth. We'll catch up with the USC women's golf team out in Oregon in a moment. We're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Tonight's show presented by Future Scholars Palmetto Baby Grant Program. May 29th is 529 Day. All babies born on May 29th are eligible to receive a $529 college savings grant. To apply, visit scpalmettobaby.com. Future Scholar is administered by the Office of State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. And who knows how many of those young girls born on May 29th are going to turn out to be golfers, and college golfers at that, and perhaps future USC women golfers. We welcome in USC women's golf coach Kaylin Anderson out in Oregon preparing her team for the start of the NCAA championships tomorrow. Coach, how are you?
Doing great. It's beautiful out here, a little cooler than South Carolina, but a little bit rainy, but we're enjoying it. We had a great practice round today and just getting a little practice done. Tee off really early tomorrow at 7:30 first one out.
That's great. Well, hopefully Larry Penley from Clemson's listening. Just had him on, and Coach McDonald is listening. Had him on last night because they're going to be following right behind you guys when y'all finish up. What after your first look at the Eugene Country Club the last few days, what advice do you have for these folks coming out following you and preparing for this layout?
Well, you have to drive it straight out here, that's for sure. So, it's, there's going to be a premium on ball striking. The course is scoreable if you're hitting it in the fairway. The rough is a little bit thick, so you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble if you're going a little stray. But, it's really fair. The greens are good. It's in perfect condition. So I think if, you're driving it well and putting it well, you're gonna have a really good week out here.
Are you glad that y'all are going out, the women, that you get to play ahead of the men, so maybe the place is not so spiked up and chopped up, by the time you guys finish up and they follow up behind you, you're getting it while it's pristine?
Absolutely we are. I'll tell you what, it's a small range. It's a beautiful traditional golf course. I think it fits us really, really well. But small range, I think, we're going to beat it up a little bit, and I think the guys are going to come in and beat it up pretty good. So the members are pretty nice to let us be out here. But, the grass is perfect, and like I said, the greens are rolling really pure. So we're happy to be here and getting ready and excited to go tomorrow. Now
the greens, generally speaking, are they large greens or small? What's the characteristics of the greens?
Pretty small. Everything's kind of narrow. Tree lines, thick rough, and then the greens are pretty small, actually, small and undulated, and I think if you get underneath the hole, you're going to be in great shape.
What about approaches? Are the greens going to hold well? Are you going to have a lot of balls hitting and rolling off the front or the back? Are they set up that way?
I think back to front, you're going to have some really fast putts if you're getting above the hole. But for the most part, the greens are very receptive. There's been a lot of rain out here. It rained today during the practice round. We're supposed to have off and out showers all week kind of. So it's very, very receptive. It's just a matter of, hitting it in the right spots and staying under the hole. And really, middle of the green is going to be a premium here.
Now, you're coming off a very good showing in regional play. You tied for regional honors down at LSU. So as a team, how do you feel you guys are playing coming in, and what's your confidence level like coming off the regional?
Oh, it's great. We're playing the best golf we've played all year, and we're kind of peaking at the right time, which is really fun. Kate, Sarah, and Inoa have led us all year long, and it's really fun to see two freshmen step in at regionals and really step up at the most important time of the year. And they're playing good, and I think we got 5 solid, 5 strong. Where I think all year we've kind of had 3 to 4 players, mostly 3, and now we got 5, and I think it just gives everybody a little bit of confidence. So I think we're just we're a little bit of the underdog coming in here, and I think it's a good position to be in, and we can just free it up and go play some golf.
Why do you feel you're an underdog coming in, especially considering how well you played in your regional?
Yeah, I think just our year. I think we didn't have the year that is a little bit of a rebuilding year. We're really young, and we just sort of came on strong at the end. And I don't think a lot of people expected us to do what we did, and they might not be here. But I really like the spirit of this group, their attitude, their confidence right now. So I think I think we got a good shot at doing some damage here.
Now, Caitlin Damball had a great regional for you, and I guess she's sort of been your leader all year long. What What do you ask from her here at the NCAA tournament?
You know, she's had a phenomenal year. I mean, she's, I think, had 5 top 2 finishes and a win, obviously, and has been out there and has established herself as a front runner for Player of the Year. But you know, the only thing I can ask of her is to go out there and free it up and play and take one shot at a time, and not get caught up in all the achievements and all the awards and all the things that could happen. She just needs to keep having fun playing golf, and if she does that, she's gonna have a good week, and the team's gonna have a good week, and we just need to keep doing what we've been doing and not change anything.
Yeah, of course. This continues a very nice run of NCAA tournament appearances for your program. So you've got players who've been in this setting before. That experience is that helpful this time around?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have Sarah Schmezel and Caitlin Dambaugh, who've been at all our last 3 to 4 national championships, and just their experience of winning regionals prior to this help pull us through the younger players, and just we look to their experience to keep us moving. And
how tough of a grind? I was just talking to Larry Penley a few minutes ago about the grind of this tournament, this championship, the way it's set up now, and how tough is it on the women? You're going to play a lot. If you're in this thing late, you're going to play a lot of golf over the next several days. Yeah,
it's a little bit of a marathon. A lot of this is really just conditioning them to rest. They need to stay rested. We need to not overwork ourselves. We need to stay mentally fresh, and that's kind of the hard part of this. It's easy to kind of get caught up in grinding and working too hard and practicing too much. So we've tried to kind of be loose and have fun. And you think about it, we just played a practice round today. We have 3 rounds ahead of us, another 4th round, and then multiple matches going into the next couple days if we're in the finals. So yeah. It's a bit of a marathon. So it's really keeping them hydrated and good nutrition and keeping them rested and excited about playing golf, because that's a lot of golf in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Well, your team and the field that's out there. Is your team capable of making it to the match play round?
Absolutely, there. Yep. I think we're playing great, and I think I think it's a group that believes in themselves, and that's going to be the most important thing. We just need to stay really patient. 4 rounds is a long time. We just, it's a lot of golf, so we just need to stay patient on this golf course and minimize mistakes when we make them, and just go out there and have fun.
All right.
I think if we do that, we're going to be in great shape.
All right. Now, you said you're teeing off at 7:30 in the morning out there. So is that an advantage in terms of the weather conditions in that part of the world in the morning? Is it usually calmer out there in the morning?
The wind picked up a little bit this afternoon, so I think so. You're going to get off and on rain all day. I think that's just part of the deal, but it is always nice to get out early, post a number. Usually there's less wind, so I think that's a great tee time. I know a lot of our players love being the first ones off and getting out there and getting done on the day and having the day ahead of them. So it'll be nice to just to get out there early, and kind of set the tone.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, and if things go well, we'll try and reach you tomorrow afternoon on the program, get a recap for you if things look good, and hopefully next week we'll talk some more golf with you.
Appreciate it. Go Gamecocks.
Thank you very much, Coach. We appreciate it. Yes, thank you. Okay, Kaylin Anderson, who is in her 9th year as USC women's golf coach, and boy, she's done a marvelous job. They have not missed the NCAA tournament. This is all you can ask of your coach, of course. Get to the NCAA tournament, and they've been in the tournament every year since 2010 and finished as high as 5th in 2012. Last year they finished 17th. The year before they finished 13th. So she's got them there, and of course, this is something we haven't mentioned this week, but they announced earlier this week, I think it was, plans for a new practice facility for the golf teams over there by the new football practice facility area.
Just get a hunk of that course out in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That'll help them out.
I'm sure that Larry would like to take a hunk of that and throw it in the ocean. We'll be right back. Back we are, Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Thanks to Coach Anderson for joining us here on Sports Talk. Hope things go well for them tomorrow. And we're brought to you by the National Wild Turkey Federation. You can help make the world a better place through conservation of North America's greatest game bird and the preservation of our hunting heritage by joining the NWTF. Find out how at nwtf.org/riseandfly. Just want to mention something about golf and people who talk about golf. One thing I hate it, and I have to remind people of this, that golf, I hate when people say, yep, I'm going golfing today.
Oh, you're talking about the verb thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate that. Golf is not a verb. Golf.
You can make it a verb.
Golf. No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
You can say I golf.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make it a verb? No.
No.
Golf is a noun. And there's no way you can make it into a verb.
Put ing on it.
But see, that's incorrect as far as I'm concerned. That's not good sporting language. So any of you listening, I'm just telling you now, do not say I'm going golfing. See, what happens is people confuse it with bowling. You see, because they say I'm going bowling. But bowling already has the ing in its name as a noun.
No, but
that's true. You can go bowl.
There you go.
Which makes it if you go bowl, that makes it a verb. So thus, I'm going bowling. But you can't go golf. You just can't go golf. You have to play golf. It's like you can't go baseballing. You can't go baseballing. You go play baseball. See what I'm saying? So golf, please, people, let me educate you. It's not a verb. It's not a verb. Did you see, by the way, where I think it's Muirfield over in Great Britain, over in England? Mm-hmm. It's been in the rotation for the British Open.
The Open,
yeah.
They call it out.
But they just had a vote of their membership.
Did they kick it out?
No, they had a vote of their membership, and they voted not to allow women in. Keep them out. They don't have women now, and they voted to keep them out. And so the RNA said, "Okay, you're coming off the rotation. Then no more will the Open be played there." Which is that's in Scotland, I think, isn't it? Is that in Scotland?
Yes.
Yeah. That's got to be kind of a shock to those people. 3-0 Pittsburgh up on top of the Braves. And let's see what's happening
anyway? Here. Isn't that what golf means anyway?
Golf is an acronym for something.
Gentlemen open, ladies forbidden.
That's right. I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what.
So they took it literally, mm-hmm. and it cost them big time. The interesting thing about it when you were talking to Coach Anderson is the fact that isn't it quite interesting where Larry Penley went? The course was kind of rough. The weather's this way, but the greens were large. But they were like, what was the term that they almost got? One got thrown out of the Masters, the bikini wax.
Yeah,
green,
very fast. Very fast.
Whereas in Oregon, because it rains all the time, and she said it's going to be raining throughout the week, mm-hmm. which means to the layman of us that the greens have to be a little bit slow because of the moisture.
Sure. Especially playing in the morning.
But now, guess what? They make a course out there where the greens are small. See, it's interesting how the course designers say because of the weather and all other factors involved,
sure.
the way they design a course. They say, okay, you think the greens are easy out here because of the rain. All right, we'll go smaller and then really make it tough on you.
By the way, I was just looking on the Eugene Country Club website, got a nice website with all the information about the championships, and you'll be able to watch the women and the men in these championships. Golf Channel is going to be out there. Mm-hmm. And former Columbia radio personality, Steve Burkowski, who is the top college golf analyst on the Golf Channel, will be there interviewing people and maybe doing play-by-play. Berkey, as we know him. So get to see a lot of him coming up in the days and weeks to come.
With Berkey.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Berkey had a problem with his swing.
Oh, by the way,
when he was at Florida.
Pirates are now up 5-0.
When he had his swing at Florida, And I've never seen a guy, because I worked with Berkey years ago. I never seen a guy so young with a bad back. I mean, we did a radio
Tiger
show.
Woods.
We used to do a radio show in the morning where after we get off the air for a commercial break, sometimes he'd lay on the floor to stretch his back out.
Same with Larry Bird. Clemson and Notre Dame 1-1, top of the 7th. Tigers have the go-ahead run on second. Pender with a double. He's on second with one Tiger out in the top of the 7th inning. We'll update other baseball scores and more when we come back. All right, back for our final couple of minutes tonight here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Future Scholars Palmetto Baby Grant Program. Coming up May 29th, 529 Day, all babies born on May 29th, eligible to receive a $529 college savings grant. To apply, visit scpalmettobaby.com. Future Scholar, administered by the Office of State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. This program is his little baby, the 529 Savings Program. Check it out if you're going to have a kid around the 29th. You know, try and time it. I guarantee you know, if I were pregnant, which would be, of course.
Oh my goodness! Well, of
course, you know, God was very smart when He didn't allow men to have babies, because you know He'd know that we're babies and we couldn't stand it. We wouldn't have them. There'd be fewer people on this planet if men had to have babies. Don't you agree, Carson? Mm-hmm. Yes. How women have kids is beyond me. Anyway, just doesn't look like it's a pleasant thing to go through. You ever watched childbirth?
Not in person, no, but I have seen it on channel.
I've seen it twice in person, my own too, and that was enough to last me the rest of my life.
There's a wonder your spouse didn't throw you out of the room.
Well, I'll just tell this quick little story. Before our first child was born, 30-something years ago, you know, we went through the Lamaze classes and all this stuff. Yeah, we're going to do the natural childbirth thing, da-da-da-da-da. And we get there to the hospital to go into the delivery. And, I mean, she wasn't there 10 minutes before she was for the drugs. And I said, well, what about the breathing and all this other stuff? Forget that. Get me the drugs. I don't care about anything we've learned. Get me the drugs. And so that's how we went about that. Clemson, 2 outs, runners on the corners, 1-1. Tigers and Notre Dame, USC, Alabama. About to crank things up in a little bit. Let's check some other college baseball scores before we leave you tonight. Ole Miss, Texas A&M, 1-1 in the third. Florida LSU scoreless in the first. Florida State 2-0 over Miami in the second. Louisville 2-1 over Wake Forest in the fifth. Arkansas, Mississippi State scoreless. Virginia 4-2 over Virginia Tech in the fourth. Vandy has beaten Auburn 5-2 in the first of two. North Carolina leads NC State 2-0. Auburn Vandy scoreless in the first in that second game. Coastal up on Campbell 7-0. Boston College leading Georgia Tech 3-1. I also want to mention a couple of final recruiting notes breaking late tonight. USC has offered defensive back Amir Speed out of Jacksonville, and Clemson has offered 2018 offensive lineman Jackson Carman of Fairfield, Ohio. Okay, there you go. That will do it for Sports Talk tonight. Thank you, Carson. Great job. Thank you, Pro. Everybody have a great night. Look forward to a big Friday here on Sports Talk. We'll see you then.